This morning we read Daniel chapter 11. This is a really interesting chapter. It is as though Daniel was writing history, the history of the Greek Empire. The great mighty king arose and invaded from the kingdom of Greece, invaded and built a massive empire. He didn't leave a descendant, but his empire was split up afterwards. Surely that's Alexander the Great. And as you read through this, you see the machinations, the battles that were taking place between the various parts of the Greek Empire at that time. And you see the Greek Empire come against the Holy Land and persecute God's people. This despicable person who worshipped new gods, who didn't do what previous rulers had done, which was to ignore the religion of those you captured. He went and established himself in the beautiful land and forced Jewish people to adopt Greek ways, to eat non-kosher food. He destroyed the temple worship and set up his own blasphemies in the temple, the persecution against which the Maccabees rose up against, and the Maccabean Rebellion, which took place against the Greek Empire. If you were reading this now, you would say this is not prophecy, but history. It's so accurate. It speaks so clearly of what happened then. But remember the great themes of Scripture, particularly the Old Testament prophecy. Those who are mighty, those who are successful, should never, ever, ever forget that God makes them successful. He raises up and he tears down. And the empires of today who seem so mighty, the Persian Empire in this case, will be pulled down and another empire will come. And though that empire behaves wickedly and evilly, though there seems nothing you can do against Alexander, his kingdom will be parceled out. And then they strive against each other. And then eventually the persecution comes against God's people. But don't fret. The persecution is horrible and tough to go through, but it will not last forever, because God will throw down the empires of this world. No empire, no injustice lasts forever. And here is the great message of Daniel repeated again and made clear again. And this time we see it's the Greek Empire that is prophesied against and spoken out against. Today we live as those who trust in the Lord, who see the empires of this world rise up, who see them become powerful, who think there is no way we can ever shake off the rule of evil men. But the lessons of history is no empire lasts forever. God raises up and God pulls down. Those who are persecuting God's people should be careful, because the lesson of prophecy and the lesson of history is God pulls down those who persecute his people and gives their kingdoms to others. God is the King of all the earth. He raises up and he tears down. It behoves us to recognize his might and his power.